disastrous equipment fails caught on camera. Whether it is the massive stadiums or industrial production or big skyscrapers, equipment has helped us do wonders. But when they are mishandled, things can quickly go disastrous and ugly. In this video, we witness the most dangerous and dreadful equipment fails ever. Crane turns the stadium to dust! Cranes are the largest pieces of equipment in the world, designed to carry impossible weights. However, on July 14, 1999, things took a disastrous turn. A crane tasked with placing a heavy roof onto the stadium's existing structure was confronted by strong winds, reaching up to 27 miles per hour. Despite the robust construction of the Big Blue crane, facing such intense gusts proved to be an immense challenge. At 5:12 p.m., the crane lost its grip and plummeted directly into the infrastructure. The impact was so severe that the entire under-construction baseball stadium was reduced to rubble, tragically claiming the lives of 3 individuals. Demolition goes wrong in Russia. In January 2020, when St. Petersburg, Russia is covered with snow, workers are dislodging the sports complex roof. In this dramatic drone footage, a man can be seen with a blowtorch crackling to cut through the metal supports. Most of the linkages have already been dismantled, but the moment he cuts this metal cable, the heavy roof puts pressure on the whole structure, and instantly the sports complex starts to crumble. The worker can be seen running for his life, but the damage is too strong, and it was about a few moments when the whole stadium turned to dust. Later on, the body is found in the rubble. These grave moments instantly fill one's heart with grief and amazement. Manhattan collapse. Cranes, being the mighty giants of construction, are a symbol of strength and progress, but sometimes even the mightiest can falter. On February 5, 2016, a big crane of 570 feet high was tasked for constructing a building in Manhattan. But on that fateful day, it was about 8:15 a.m. in the morning when a local citizen from its 30th floor heard cracking voices coming from this crane and decided to capture this video.
Moving fast now, he's dropping it really quick now.
Whoa!
Eventually, this crane gradually started falling. This was a horrific fail, as it fell straight into the street, especially at the rush hour. This unfortunate crash took one life, with massive infrastructural damage. It put a halt on all the running traffic and caused a panic around the whole of Manhattan. The streets were blocked and traffic jammed. With collapses like these, it was fortunate that the losses were limited. Miraculous survival. Even after several explosion attempts, this smokestack had stood its ground and proved to be much more resilient than engineers could think. At last, the excavator driver was called to dismantle the chimney. But unfortunately, he was caught at the wrong place, and this smokestack started to fall straight on the excavator itself. Everyone was in awe of what they had seen. When the rescue approached, luckily Tim was hurt with just a few scratches. He was lucky that he had escaped a tragedy. Thankfully, he showed the presence of mind and did not come outside of the excavator's cabin. Otherwise, things could have been much worse. Accident flamed the building. Cranes are the backbone equipment in almost every production because they let you carry impossible weights and make things easier. Just like this crane, which is holding blazing slag. It delicately places it into place while a worker observes if it is placed correctly. He seems satisfied and goes outside. But the moment the crane driver tries to pull the hook, it appears to be still attached. Thinking maybe it is loosely connected, he tries again. But it is this moment when this burning lava is spilled over the floor and the whole floor is ablaze. It sparked with an explosion and caught everything on fire. Luckily, workers had just gotten outside and no lives were lost. Crane broke in Seattle. In this footage, this car in Seattle, Washington was about to cross Mercer Street, but it witnesses one of the most horrifying images of all time. On April 27, 2019 afternoon, it was about 3:28 p.m. when a construction crane working on the Google office was hit by a strong gust of wind of speeds of 23 miles per hour. It was so strong that it instantly collapsed and fell straight into the running traffic. This accident crushed 6 cars near Fairview Avenue. Besides all the infrastructure damage, it claimed 4 lives, including a college student and a former city administrator. This incident was dreadful enough to shock the whole of Seattle. Lifting accident. On the 3rd of August 2015, 2 cranes were deployed to restore a bridge in the central Dutch town of Alphen aan den Rijn. The plan was to pick the missing piece and place it into the existing bridge structure. But the real question was, would the barges be stable enough to sustain the heavy movements? This is a big question because floating objects such as barges can move freely in the water and can destabilize the whole process. When cranes took the load of 700 tons, the possible risk came to reality, and both equipment ended up falling onto the houses and shops. Fortunately, the incident did not bring any casualties, but significant infrastructural damages were recorded. Waikato crane topple fail accident. In New Zealand, a 200-ton crane was all set up on a riverbank while building a cycleway bridge. Everything seemed to be going all right, but when it went for the second beam, some cracks started to show up on the ground. The land on the riverside was already too wet, and with this heavy equipment on it, it started to give way. And also, the outrigger pad started to sink. Just before the crane could put the load down, it was an unstoppable collapse. Landsliding collapsed the whole construction site as the crane was turned upside down. Luckily, the driver was taken out in time and he remained unharmed with just a few scratches on his body. Building collapses on a bulldozer. This construction site in Istanbul followed the most unbelievable incident ever. In February 2023, a bulldozer was trying to dig while keeping the neighboring buildings safe. But in the second month of the year, it is a risky thing to do because rains soften the soil. That is why the moment it hit the base, the building started to crumble and steel rods came straight to the bulldozer. But that is not all, because it was about time when the retaining wall gave way, causing a landslide. And the bulldozer with no way to go got buried under the rubble. Later on, rescue teams took out the bulldozer worker, but this was definitely one of the most dreadful sights ever. Superdozer comes to the rescue. This is yet another super cool moment. A dozer following the slide gets stuck in the shallow swamp, and now there is no getting it out. It is impossible for any human to give a helping hand to such heavy equipment. That is why another brother dozer comes to the rescue. The driver intelligently pushes the soil towards it after trying to create a solid ground, enough to allow it to get some friction to pull itself back. After pushing soil from one side, it goes over and pushes some more soil towards its other wheels. One push after the other, and eventually, the dozer is able to get out of the water. Machines favor those who employ sharp thinking. Concrete buffer gone wild. Alright, this is one in a million moments. For some reason, this concrete buffer had gone wild. It started circling as if there was no tomorrow. To be honest, it looks like a standoff between one concrete buffer and tens of construction workers. One of them tried to sabotage the machine with water, but they better try something else. All right, there came a stick. Still not working. Okay, there was this genius idea. Use the tart. This might work, actually. Oh no! There is no stopping today, unless it eventually runs out of gas. Alright, the first person to get to the tart is a winner. What's going on? Someone? Anyone? So eventually, this guy came to the rescue and put a halt to this ride. That's cool, folks. Dragline mayhem. In Australia, multiple dragline excavators were leveraging repair construction work. These equipment are the largest excavators, reaching up to the height of 100 meters. It was just about time when suddenly, one of them unexpectedly started falling down fast, and in moments, it collapsed. It fell down with such intensity that it took other cranes down as well. This accident turned the whole construction site into a disaster. Rising smoke clouds were seen as the working unit was completely brought to a halt. In the end, this mishap led to several injuries, but luckily, no casualties were reported. See you next time!